back to We Watch Movie. I'm Mike.
I'm Jake.
Everyone's losing their panties right now because Halloween 2018 came out and it fucking rocked it at the box office.
$200 million and still going strong!
Told you the power of my monsters. Rita, make them grow.
Showing.
I feel like Skeletor in Masters of the Universe when he's like, do you hear? It's like, yes! And the power comes inside of him.
But now that Halloween's come out, you've got the whole rights issues with Friday the 13th. Now the court came out and they said, Victor Miller, you win the lawsuit, but technically, you know,
you still owe child support, motherfucker.
Technically, your first script doesn't include the character of Jason Voorhees, the hockey mask and all that. So that's for maybe another court battle down the road. But things are moving forward. They're going to make a movie. LeBron James, of all people, is someone who's being talked about as possibly being a producer for it. They're working towards a Friday the 13th movie. Now that's all convoluted and confusing and scary in the darkness, in the night. What we're going to talk about today is... what should they do with Friday the 13th?
Well, now here is the you know, Friday the 13th is in such a weird place. Is it a better idea to reboot the series at this point when you get the chance to do it, or do a sequel to the Derek Mears Friday the 13th with Platinum Dunes, sponsored by Michael Bay?
The tits are so juicy, bro.
Oh shit. They made him a kid that survived on his own out in the wood. He sets traps, he's not stupid, and he knows how to handle his business. At the very beginning of that movie, in the Friday the 13th with Derek Mears, and he runs and slams that machete in that guy's head. Like, fucking goddamn.
And back had Jason.
And he had, well, he had the rat, he looked great. The problem is, though, that movie came out, like, it's 2018 now. Like, we're probably not even going to be looking at a Friday the 13th release at all of any kind of movie until 2019 to 2020. So that's going to put it at 10 to 11 years after that one. So they're not going to do a sequel to it. As much as I would have liked to explore that idea, I don't think it's going to happen. I think there's going to be a remake that goes up.
Originally, the idea I heard was to have a Friday the 13th sequel to the 2009 reboot and have it be set in the snow somehow, which I think was a fantastic fucking idea. Jason in the snow would just viscerally, just the look of it, man, it would look so fucking cool.
He's going to stand out like a fucking sore ass thumb, though. He wears a jumpsuit, like it's like a
the blood in the snow, the background, the atmosphere. I think it would be amazing. But the problem with Friday the 13th with Jason is, as you said, man, it's been so long. It's not like they're going to do a direct sequel to 2009, which would be the ideal thing. I think, like, if fans could have it the way they wanted it, I feel like we would, most of us would be like, hey, just make a sequel to that movie and have Jason do his thing. They should bring Derek Mears back. He did a fantastic fucking job.
And by the way,
you still
let me
can
interject really quick. About Derek Mears. Derek Mears is one of the coolest guys ever. Like, if you guys go on YouTube and watch some of his interviews, he's one of the he's super big. He's a big dude, but he was really passionate about the role of Jason. He loved what he was doing, like, and he's really approachable, a really cool guy, and he wanted to make more Jason films. And he said, like, you know, he grew up watching these films and loved them, and also watched other horror movies, and he was emulating as much as he could as far as what the other Jasons had done before him, and it shows. I mean, he does such a phenomenal job. If anything else, if they reboot the series, which I think that's the route they're going to go, at least cast Derek Mears as your Jason. Like, I think he deserves it, and I think he would be. You're hard pressed to find a better guy, like, as far as what he can do. Sure. He's like 6'7" and 8, and built like a stack house, and I want to take him out to Applebee's.
Oh, I want to take him to IHOP, but
shit, you're going fancy.
There's also the idea that Kane Hodder could come back and do Jason. You could bring him back, or you could bring someone brand new. But let's look at this for a second, because you can either reboot it, which is, for studios, it's the ideal thing. The property's changed hands. It's been almost 10 years since the last movie. Tell the story again, but I really don't think that fans want that. It's like the Spider-Man syndrome, right? You come out with Andrew Garfield, Amazing Spider-Man, you tell another origin story. You got to go through the Uncle Ben thing again. Then not only that, but when you talk about the Friday the 13th franchise, and the original Jason wasn't even in it, which is part of the rights battle. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think anybody wants to see a remake of the original Friday the 13th where Jason's not the killer. I think at this point, you want Jason to be your fucking killer. So you can't start from ground zero. Now, there was a script that was going to do that, and it was going to include the dad, Elias. I think it's Elias.
Yeah, it's Elias.
They were going to include the dad, and they were going to do all that. And that
fucking Elias, get the tractor on the mud. The
general horror fan, maybe not horror fan, but just fan of scary movies or whatever, is just going to want Jason, I think, at this point. Yeah. I think you have to start with Jason.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say I agree with most of what you're saying, except for the fact that...
Well, fuck me in the butt.
Right in the hole... the Canadian,
the whole
boot time.
Oh, take me to Saskatchewan.
Steak and shake.
Oh yeah, hockey.
So what I was going to say is that I do agree with your with overall your assessment of that. As far as, like, you need to cut out Pamela Voorhees, and I know it's not Deborah Voorhees. I know I fucked that last video up, okay? I know it's Pamela. And again, this is why the 09 version of Jason on Friday the 13th gets not the credit it's due. They had a small moment in that movie, a very small moment, a flashback sequence of Jason watching from the woods as his mother gets beheaded, and then they go from there. Because nobody, like, you already know what made Friday the 13th so cool, the original one, is that nobody knew it was Pamela Voorhees. You know, it was the mystery that kept it going. That's what they need to do. Now,
but is it too much to go back and do the exact same thing again?
No, I mean, they have to figure out a way to make it unique and different from its own thing, not make it Platinum Dunes, Michael Bay inspired. You can't make a Michael Bay. Got that socks made of silk money.
Make it okay, make.
I don't give a fuck.
2 coffee crullers.
Yeah, but you know, you can say what you want about Michael Bay. I think that he produced a really good movie in 09.
And he hated it.
Yeah, he hated it.
He walked out of the fucking theater. Too much boobies. He likes wet stomachs.
You don't overthink it. Like Jason, Friday the 13th is not like a super suspense thriller kind of movie anyway, but
yeah,
just keep it cool. Yeah.
What they should do is this. Something like what Eli Roth did with Green Inferno. Have some kids, some teenagers or whatever, some social justice warrior types, a couple of them annoying that you want to fucking die, and a couple of them who are really there for genuine reasons, who are good people or whatever.
Or to save the rainforest.
These are going to be your people that you stick onto, and you can make a future out of with the franchise, however you want to tell that story. Because some murders happen there, because of Jason Voorhees and the legend of it, and the whole area is marred like a fucking haunted house. The city is wanting to knock all that shit down and put fucking Walmarts there or whatever you want to do.
What about Kmart?
Make it a fucking parking lot, you know? And you don't have to go back and tell the origin story because we know Jason's there and we know he's there because he killed people. And they never found his body, however you want to do that. And then you get a bunch of people for Jason to kill. You get a whole construction crew, people knocking down trees and shit like that for Jason to just fucking work through.
Maybe go back to the roots a little bit. You know, like camping is not as popular as it was in the 70s, I suppose, because everybody's on their Xbox jacking off to fucking, I don't know, Halo titties. Instead of having, you know, maybe try to make a guy that really wanted to make a camp work again. Like, I mean, I'm talking about going back to the roots. Like going back to what made Friday the 13th so cool and unique, I suppose, where the guy is like wanting to make a camp again and he opens it up. And the Camp Crystal Lake lore, maybe he's, you know, I think that they did that in Friday the 13th Part 2. They kind of like hush over that. They don't really talk about that. And they kind of make a new name for it. It's still Crystal Lake, but they don't really want to talk about the lore of it. And he opens it up and they come back and it's like today's world. Like the kids of today, like, you know, their iPhones and iPads and all that bullshit coming in. And then the counselors are there because they need money. They're from the local towns. And then just having a basic film around Jason stalking the shit out of that. And like, I don't know, like something, like keeping it basic but adding new flavors in would, I think, in some way give it the ump that it needs to get.
If you want to make it realistic and you want to put this in 2018, I don't know if audiences are going to buy into the fact that every single movie, people just keep going to this camp and they keep going, oh, Jason killed 100 fucking people here, and no cops show up to look for Jason. Nobody follows up on the deaths. Nobody does anything. People just keep showing up and keep dying. But what you can do with this storyline, in this storyline, what you can do is you can have it happen once or twice or whatever, keep it vague, but Jason kills a bunch of people, and then at the end of the movie, the cops start to swarm, and you can maybe hint at the next sequel. Maybe the next sequel is Jason taking on some cops there or whatever. Maybe from there you take it on to where Jason actually has to leave Crystal Lake. You don't have to take him to Manhattan and go crazy territory, but you can take him somewhere else. You can do different things with him. There's many movies right there fucking wrapped in a bow for you to do.
I've always thought that it would be cool if you're gonna do a remake and you're like, well, you can't get people to come to the same you know, campsite if there's this murder that happened. Well, what if it happened 20 years prior and it was a giant massacre? Just giant massacre, and that was kind of acknowledging the other Friday the 13th films. And they're like, no, we're going to reopen it, and you know, they've done that before in the other Friday the 13th films, but it's just a way of updating it and kind of bringing people back in. I don't want them to do this, but you know how they explored like the runes bullshit with Michael?
No.
But I'm saying like there's some kind of connective force that keeps Jason at Crystal Lake.
Fuck all the backstory, dude. He's a fucking murderous killer that no one can stop.
Well, yeah,
that's all you need,
and that's fine. But I mean, again, it's going to be the question, just like they did with Michael Myers: is he supernatural or not? And that's going to have to be addressed. And I think the best way to do that, well, I mean, yeah, because I don't want him to just I don't
want to talk about mommy anymore.
No,
he's fucking Jason. We know he's Jason.
But you know his mommy issues, like you make fun of mommy and him talking about his mom or whatever controlling him. That was part of his psychosis. That is unique to him, other than Anthony Perkins in Psycho. So I'm not okay with him taking orders, as long as it's not fucking Rob Zombie's wife, Sherry Moon. But I mean, I'm okay with him
In
doing
a sequel, if you want to touch on it because it's a part of the lore, I get it, but I just don't think you need it.
what we're talking about is we're trying to figure out a way to springboard into the future with Friday the 13th. So we have various different ideas on how to do. I mean, and everybody will.
What do you guys think? How do you guys think they should do the Jason franchise from here on out?
I think Jason should come back in a dress like they did in Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation.
I wonder if she's got it in my style.
Matthew McConaughey, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Don't you know that was the best? Didn't you get the memo?
Them are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up. With every fucking face, if you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and get some goddamn wham up in you. Don't forget to comment below with how you would like to see Jason take off from this point.
I don't know how to really bring this up. Do you guys want to go camping?
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah. You know what? We did a review. We watched a movie. We watched a movie.